Hi everyone, I wanted to give you a little bit more help with the explain the reasons questions that we've been looking at. And in this little video, I want to particularly focus on a formula that might help some of you to just nail how to answer these properly. Bit of background, as you know, all of these questions are worth 6 marks, and to get these marks you can make a number of points, either 6 independent separate points in separate sentences, or a number of developed points, which are your simple points with some extra information added onto it. Now the formula I wanted to use was something called the ABCD formula, and the ABC bit of it is what you should be using for every single point you make. First of all, you answer, you name a reason, and you use the question, the wording in the question. And then you write the word because, and then you make your comment. In your comment, what you need to do is explicitly state what the impact of this reason was. And then if you wish, for the D part, you can develop your point. What I mean by naming the reason and using the wording in the question is something like this. Let's say the question was, explain the reasons why Neville Chamberlain decided to appease Hitler. You would go with something like, one reason Chamberlain decided to appease Hitler was that he felt that Britain was not ready for a war in 1939. Okay? And then the next thing you do is you very simply write the word because. So you would talk about Chamberlain not ready for a war because. And you have to do this. So we look at the reason, you name the reason, you use the wording in the question, okay? And you use the word because, and then after that you make your comment. You need to state exactly how the reason would impact on that situation. So how does it work? Why did that reason do it? Or what was the impact of it? I'll give you an example in a minute. Okay. And D is very simple. Add some extra information to your point to develop it. So let's look at the question here. Explain the reasons why slaves from West Africa were needed in the Caribbean. Okay. Answer. Well, the labor-intensive nature of sugar farming was one reason why slaves were needed. There we go. I've got a reason, and I've used the word in the question. Slaves needed, labor-intensive nature of sugar farming. So, next I write the word because. The labor-intensive nature of sugar farming was one reason why slaves were needed because. Next is my comment. The labor-intensive nature of sugar farming was one reason why slaves were needed because it required large numbers of people to do all the jobs needed to make the final product. That's 1 mark. So you can see I've got my A in there, I've got my B in there, and I've got my C in there. And if you wish, you can then move on to look at D, develop. The labor-intensive nature of sugar farming was one reason why slaves were needed because it required large numbers of people to do all the jobs needed to make the final product. These jobs included clearing the ground, harvesting the cane, and processing the sugar. 50 tons of cane was needed for 1 ton of sugar. There's the extra information in there. There's the developed point. So 3 top tips, First of all, you can make a mixture of simple or developed points. Remember that. Simple or developed points. So if a developed point is worth 2, you can make 3 of those. Or you can make 2 of those and 2 simple points, or 4 simple points, 1 developed point. You know all about that one. But try and remember your A, B, C, D. Every single point must have a reason in it. It's not good enough to just let the examiner or the marker try and work out what you're trying to say. You have to be clear. Use that formula if it's not working for you. And finally, as with all these sorts of questions, before you say, I'm finished with this one, just count your points. Have you made enough points to get you the 6 marks that you think your answer's worth? Do that before you say, yeah, that's finished, and you hand that in. So thank you for listening, and let me know if you've got any questions.